Okay, so we're going to sit here and complete this Excel spreadsheet together. As you can see, I have my raw data in, and if I scroll down, I have the directions below. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I'm going to go through the formulas with you. I'm going to go through the percentages with you, figure out net pay, and then come down here and complete the formulas for total, average, max, and min. Pretty straightforward. We'll go step by step and go slow enough so that hopefully you can follow along. The first formula that I plan to show you is gross pay, and you should know that gross pay, in order to calculate that, we're simply going to take the hours worked and multiply that by the wage rate. So these two right here are going to be multiplied in a formula in this cell, and that's going to produce a formula that we can then copy down and eliminate a little bit of work for us. Remember, in order to tell the computer that we're going to use a formula, we use an equal sign. And then again, we want the cells. We're not concerned with what's in the cells, we want the cells. So we're going to click on C8 because that's the cell that we want to multiply. We're going to hit Shift 8 to get our multiplication symbol, and then we're going to click on D8 to get the other cell that we want to multiply with the previous cell. I'm going to hit enter. My answer is 225.50, and you notice the formula up here again is equal C8 times D8. Once I have my formula, I can then get the black T from the bottom right corner and drag it down, and I have my answers for the rest. And I only had to put the formula in one time. Going forward, I want to find the percentage for FICA, which is a tax. I'm going to scroll down and look at my directions. Direction number 4, calculate FICA using a rate of 12.5%. Because that percentage is over 10, we're simply going to move to decimal when we multiply it. That's a big problem that a lot of people have, is they don't put the decimal in the right place. So in order to calculate a tax, we are going to multiply that percentage by the gross pay. And again, we want to do that using a formula, so we're going to put in an equal sign. We're going to click on cell E8 because that cell has the content that we want to multiply by, and we want to multiply that cell by clicking Shift 8 again, and again scrolling down and looking at the percent rate, which is 12.5%. We want to put that as a decimal, which is 0.125. We can then hit equal, and it gives us a percentage or a dollar amount of 28.19, which I can then copy down and again have the formulas work for me. Okay. Federal tax is found the same way as we find FICA tax. We take our gross pay and we multiply it by a percentage. Go down here to our instructions and see what that percentage is, and the percentage is 10.2%. So I'm going to go back up, I'm going to click in the cell, I'm going to tell the computer I want to use a formula by hitting the equal sign, clicking the gross pay, and multiplying it by, I'm going to double check, 10.2%. So because it's 10 or more, I'm going to put 0.102, and whoop, I made a mistake there. I didn't hit a multiplication sign, so I'm going to back it up. I'm going to hit Shift 8, click on the multiplication sign. I'm going to hit 0.102, enter. I get my dollar amount of $23, carry it down, and I have my additional amounts there because the formula works for me. Okay. Going forward, we need to figure out what the net pay is. All right, we've done this before in class, but very simply, the gross pay is how much money we make before taxes come out, and net pay is how much money we make or take home after the taxes have been deducted from our paycheck. In this case, I want to find a formula that's going to give me my net pay. And if you remember, it's not a difficult formula. Again, we tell the computer we're using a formula by putting in the equal sign. We click on the cell that contains our gross pay. We hit the minus key. We click on our first tax. We hit the minus key again. we click on our next tax. If we had additional taxes or subtractions, we continue, but we don't. So I can hit enter. I get a net pay of $174.31. Again, that's a formula I can copy down, and it does a little bit of work for me. And right now I have my gross pay complete, I have my taxes or my deductions complete, and I have my net pay complete. New in today's lesson, we figure out how to find the total of columns, the average of columns, and the max and min of columns. Okay, so clicking in column E, I want to find the total of the gross pay. All right, and again, we cover this formula in class today, but I'm going to go over it. Equals sum, because we're going to add. We want to find the sum of this column right here. Then it's parenthesis. Clicking on the first cell in the column, which in this case is E8. Then it's colon. So that's shift semicolon. Click on E22 because that's the last cell in the column, and notice it makes this nice big box around the material. All right, we want to make sure that that box contains all of the numbers that we want it to and nothing more. I'm going to close that parenthesis out, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to get a total amount, and then from that total amount I'm going to copy it over to the right. Just like I copied down, I can copy to the right. I'm going to find the average, the max, and the min of the columns as well by simply putting in an equal sign, changing my abbreviation to average. From that point on, the formula is the same as it was for total. Parenthesis, first cell, colon, last cell, close the parenthesis, hit enter, copy that over. Max and min is done the same way. I just tell the computer, formula, max, open the parenthesis, click on the first cell, colon, click on the last cell, close the parenthesis, hit enter, drag it over to the right. Min is done the same way by telling the computer I'm going to use a formula, typing in min, opening my parenthesis, clicking the first cell, putting in my colon, clicking the last cell, closing my parenthesis, hitting enter, dragging it over to the right. If you happen to look into this cell right here, meaning two decimals, dollar signs only on the first figure in each row. The proper way to format your columns, if they are dealing with money, are making sure that everything that is pertaining to dollars, in this case the only thing that is not dollars is the number of hours worked, is formatted to two decimal places, and typically you put a dollar sign on the first row. You can do that by highlighting the first row, right-clicking, going to Format Cells, going to Currency, two decimal places, the symbol sign for dollars is there. You hit OK, and it just put the dollar signs on. I scroll down here. This is my first row in my second section, so I can highlight it, right-click, Format Cells, click on Currency, make sure it's two decimal places, make sure the number symbol is there, the dollar symbol is there, and hit OK. And notice my dollar signs are on the top row. Okay? That is the first part of this particular activity.